Activities for develop speaking and listening skills by Alejandra Quiroga Velasco. Research presentation. This virtual information object shows relevant aspects to take into account when designing strategies for developing listening and speaking skills. Research objectives. First, to present material to strengthen their student learning in virtual and face-to-face English language learning. Second, to show activities that help develop listening and speaking skills in their students. Developing listening materials. Listening as a receptive skill is considered the oral skill, which is the primary ability developed in first language acquisition. Noonan state that listening is the Cinderella skill in the second language context because it is overlooked by its elder sister speaking. Developing listening materials face-to-face. First activity is set some speaking and listening goals. Explain to the children the commands that they will always use during class and keep them in a visible place so that they can use it. The second activity is listen with your whole body. Listening does not just happen in your ears. It's a whole body experience. Whole body listening engages the listener to give their complete attention to what is being said. Not only this, it shows the speaker that their audience is attentive and respectful. Teach your student how a good listener behaves with these body listening postures. Third activity, interactive listening. This activity refers to conversational interactions between listeners and speakers. The listener receives the message and provides the speaker with feedback. Collaborative conversation is considered vital for interactive listening. Fourth activity, listen to songs or short stories. This activity is extensive listening and refers to extensive listening as many focused listening activities for an extended period of time listening. Okay, now develop listening materials for virtual class. The first activity is play listening games online. Games that require students to listen, wait and then react, or listen and make a decision are particularly good at targeting not only listening, but processing skill too. The second activity and fun activity is Simon Says. Ask your students to follow explicit instructions. The third activity is mix visual with listening. Students listening to the description read by the teacher while viewing an image. They decide whether the information is accurate or not. And the last activity is drawing on demand. This activity read a description out to your students several times. They need to listen very carefully as they are required to draw what they hear. Developing speaking materials. The importance of the speaking skills seems to be further underlined by the prevalence in many areas of the world of communicative language teaching, a methodology which prioritizes speaking. Develop speaking materials face to face. The first activity, write a speech. In this activity, the students have practiced their speaking skill by using writing a speech poster. How about a speech on their favorite animal, or a great movie, or a great song they've seen? The second activity, role play. In this activity, one other way of getting students to speak is a role play. Students pretend they are in various social contexts and have a variety of social roles. In role-play activities, the teacher gives information to the learners such as who they are and what they think or feel. The third activity. These activities are interviews. The students can conduct interviews on select topics with various people. It is a good idea that the teacher provides a rubric to the students so that they know what type of question they can ask or what path to follow. But students should prepare their own interview question. Conducting interviews with people gives students a chance to practice their speaking ability not only in class, but also outside, and helps them become in society. Okay, now develop speaking material for virtual class. The first activity is comic strip description. Give each student a portion of a comic strip without showing their pictures to one another. The students should attempt to describe their image and put the comic strip into the correct order. The second activity is spelling bee. In this activity, the teacher will make groups, and each group will spell some words. The third activity is storytelling. This activity develops learners' storytelling skill by asking them to make up a story spontaneous using narrative text. To do this activity, give the learners the first sentence of a story which they have to continue. And the last activity is mime. Students will look at the camera of one of their classmates and guess what he wants to talk about or what he is showing them. Conclusions. As teacher, it is necessary to seek and provide the strategies and tools that help our students reach their full potential. But to develop this skill, it is necessary for students to practice intensely, sharpen their hearing, and lose their fear of speaking or making mistakes. That's all. Thank you so much.